What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Brandon's Face. It's the podcast about a playlist. I'm Jonathan Beardsley.
And I am Brandon May.
We hope you're all doing well. We have a lot of great music to talk about this week. I don't have any music news on my itinerary. What about you?
Nothing to really talk about. The Dewlab for Coachella lineup dropped. A couple of really cool festival
Right.
lineups dropped.
Right. You know what? Let's take a second. Let's dive into that. We might as well while we are here. All right. So some things that have been announced since we last chatted. A hard summer lineup has come out.
That is correct.
Disclosure, Red Resmouse, Jamie XX, Zed's Dead, Channel Tress, Wax Motif, Boys Noise, Side Piece, Subfocus. Dear fucking God. Those are kind of the headlines of the
Yep.
first day. Second day, Under Construction, Fisher and Chris Lake, Major Lazer, Subtronics. The No Redemption to Chami and Mala doing a back-to-back. Sophie Tucker, Kenny Beats. That's going to be the
That's
set of
going to
the
be the show.
weekend, guaranteed. Dylan Francis, Matroda, Elderbrook. There's some great names on here. A few still blurred out though. Any rumors on who you think those are?
I don't. One of them kind of looks like RL Grime, but I'm not gonna. I kind of
Ooh.
want to put that into the ethos for the people that
That
are
would make
going.
sense for hard.
Right, it would make sense for hard, but it's like also like not built high enough for an RL Grime. I mean, you'd think that RL would be at the very least a sub
Sure.
headliner of hard.
Yeah, you would think. I like the guess. I don't know if it's gonna be that. It's very hard to tell. Maybe, definitely not Skrillex, not Fred again.
Nope.
Those big names ain't gonna be there. That's definitely not enough spaces for Bloody Beetroot. So I am heartbroken in that regard. But
Right.
it's good to see Hard's back. We got a few other shows announced. A-Track and Friends. He is doing a
Yep.
back-to-back with Felix the House Cat. That's gonna be fucking
Insane.
crazy.
That's gonna be insane.
Shambhala Music Festival was announced. Some big names on here as well. We've got Chromeo, Dylan Francis, Disclosure again. Some of the same names as Hard, Subtronics. An Excision set that I am sure is going to get some noise complaints. Blue to Tiger on the smaller names. This is a festival I've been seeing more of the past few years. At least I'm thinking I have. Have you been like tracking this festival at all?
Yeah, it is a festival goers festival. So, the wooks that go and basically live at festivals. This is one of the festivals that is everybody talks about.
So what Lightning in a Bottle used to be.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Okay, got it.
The ones that stand out to me on the Shambhala lineup though are totally enormous extinct dinosaurs, the
Sure.
Glitch Mob, Naya Archives, right?
The new Glitch Mob. Oh, Naya
Right.
Archives. That's a phenomenal set. That's gonna be banger.
Yes,
Party
sir.
Favor.
Yep, Party Favor.
Z Trip, who
Loon.
you don't see a lot.
You don't see a lot of Z Trip, and honestly, I think Z Trip's been underrated. I remember wandering into one of his sets at Coachella when the early days, like 2011, 2012, or something like that, and he was closing down the Sahara, and I remember being like, who is this guy that I've never heard of closing down the Sahara?
Mhm.
And he proceeded to just blow my mind.
The set that is now legendarily memorialized in Novocaine by Frank Ocean.
Yep.
That is the set he's talking about. Yeah, that's a great one, man. I also see Disco Lines on here, which we had a song of his on our Best of EDM last year called
Yep.
Icy Colors. I don't know much else of his music, but I would definitely be checking that set out if I'm in the area. And yes, the Dewlap for Coachella. Let's touch on that. So, have they announced the lineup in full like this ever?
Yeah, they always do. From my recollection, at least.
Do they do times as well? Like I for some reason I remember the Dewlab. Maybe it's just I don't know, fantasizing your past or reimagining it different
Romanticizing,
than it
yeah.
was. Romanticizing, that's the correct word. Thank you. But like I felt like the Dewlab used to just be a tent you wandered into. You had no idea who was going to be on, what they were going to be playing, and that's been the vibe ever since. Apparently, it's a little more curated and organized than my mind remembered. I remember getting hit with water guns a lot in that place,
Oh
which
yeah.
seemed dangerous for the amount of DJ equipment on that stage. But
Oh yeah.
um, let's talk about some of the names on here, man. Channel Tress, obviously going to be a great vibe for that.
Yep.
Chase and Status coming off a huge Night at the Brit Awards. Man, Coco Rosie, probably the biggest surprise on here for me. They
Mm-hmm.
are, if you don't know, I guess you'd say like indie pop from the mid 2000s that is made up of predominantly children's toy instruments and like vocals and shit. I really hope we get some streams of that. Sultan and Shepherd caught your eye though, right?
Oh yeah.
That one's going to be one of the biggest ones of the weekend, as I imagine the Hudson Mohawk back to back with Nikki Nair and Alesso debuting Body High. Should be interesting.
Yeah, man, that and DJ Tennis. I mean, this would,
Oh, god damn.
if I was going to Coachella this year, the regardless of the weekend, it would still very much ruin whatever set time planning I had already been doing. So,
Totally. There is there's no avoiding that. I think wandering into the Do Lab is a good decision people going to Coachella should make.
oh yeah, oh yeah,
At least once. You got to do it. All right, man, let's talk about the music this week because we have some bangers.
let's
Starting
do
with
it.
the new one from Fredigan, Little Yachty, and Overmono. This one's been hyped up for a while now. It's officially released. It's called Stay in It. And despite the Little Yachty of it all, I really like it. What about you?
The track is fine, man. I've never really liked Yachty, so his presence on the track doesn't really do anything for me. In fact, it takes away
But
from
the
it a little
drop.
bit.
But the
The
drop.
track is really good, though, aside from Yachty, like you said.
Where's the drop? Come on, Brandon. All right, we got the first new one from Giselle Fulstein off his upcoming album Gamma. It's called Hard Dreams. It's giving me major She Wants Revenge vibes, which I think I said
Yes.
in another episode recently.
Yeah.
Love that that sound's coming around. What did you think of this? It felt like a little broad for his taste, but a nice starting point, right?
I think he's gonna go a little bit more pop. I think
Yeah.
with his last album, he kind of did that a little bit, working with
The
the
Weekend and
weekend.
Pharrell. Yep.
Yeah, I look, man, I like it though. This is some
I do
gothy,
too.
dark dance music. It's not exactly what I was expecting, but I do dig it. I hope his live shows are kind of more similar to this. I mean, I think we've come a long way from back in the mid 2010s, the French dude leaning over the deck smoking a cigarette days, and I think we're
Justice is still around.
Justice is still around. Everybody will be okay. I think he's gonna go a little bit more poppy, and I think that's gonna help fill his sets with some interesting sounds. So I'm here for it.
I do too. And I don't know if you watched the music video for it, but as evidenced by the album artwork as well, he has continued on with the metal look. So God bless this man's
Yep,
heat tolerance live because that is a commitment. I'll tell you that.
it
That
really
suit does
is,
not
man.
look breathable to me.
I doubt it is.
Got a new one from Rez and Blank, Everywhere Nowhere. It's good stuff. I'm a really big fan of that second drop. What'd you think of this one?
Yeah, this is heavy, heavy, heavy. This album rollout is it's getting interesting to say the least. I do
And
want to mention
heavier.
though, Rez recently built a music production shed at her house. She posted a YouTube video about it. I'll leave a link to it in the show notes. She talks about like the production of one of the singles that she just recently dropped, and she has a pretty unique way of approaching it. So if you haven't seen it, I'll throw it in there. But her music shed is so cool.
I have not seen that. Throw that in the show notes. I want to check it out.
Definitely will.
Yeah, that's fucking awesome. Her album drops next week, I believe. We will be checking it out. All
Yes,
right,
we will.
new one from Feed Me, Calorific. How you feeling about it?
As always, Feed Me delivers in a big way, man. He's
Hmm.
doing some electro stuff on this one, and you know that that's something that I love. So, very interesting album artwork. But I'm always a fan of Feed Me, man. It's crazy how this guy does chord progressions better than basically anybody in the game.
Dude, I agree. This is so fun too. Like the pitched up vocals over the bridge in this one are great. I love the higher output from him lately too. Feels like
Yes.
he's really inspired for the first time in a while.
Yeah, man. I think the guy goes through phases, and we had so much output at the beginning of this project of the Feed Me project in the early 2010s, and then we just kind of stopped for a little bit. And then I love that we've gotten an album, a couple EPs, now this new sale. Like I'm Feed Me fans are eating.
Yes, yes, you were well fed. All right. So we got a new one from SG Lewis and Chloe Calais called Costa. And this is not just a new SG Lewis track. This is the first track released on his own record label, A Forever Days, which I believe is an
Hey.
imprint on Universal. I think it's a really fun track to kick things off. What do you think about it?
Yeah, man. I really liked this. I actually hope we get like more of this kind of pure house
Yeah,
sound from SG.
same.
It kind of takes me back to the early days of his career. I love the funky disco stuff he's been doing over the last couple of years. Don't get me wrong, but I love this house stuff.
100% Colombian pure uncut house, right?
Yep.
All right. We got a new one from Flight Facilities and Owl Eyes, not to be confused with Owl City. The song is called Trouble. It's a great song, super catchy. My favorite part might actually be that weird little, I don't know if it's like a cash register thing that they're using in there for transitions, but it hooks me every time, dude. I love how measured their albums are, but sometimes when they're in singles mode, they are way more fun. And this is just a fun spring track. What'd you think of it?
Yeah, man. Flight Facilities just fucking does it, man. Owl Eyes, like you said, not to be confused with Owl City. I call Owl City a number of different names, but it's never Owl City. It's always like Owl Village or something like that. But yeah, man. It's honestly it's criminal how low Flight Facilities are billed on festival lineups and whatnot. I think they're incredible musicians. So this is obviously no exception. I loved this one.
Yeah, more of this, please. All
Yeah.
right, we got a new one from Rico Nasty and Boys Noise. It's called Arintin Tin. This is the long-awaited follow-up to their banger Girl Crush. And guess what? It's another banger, dude. I've had the beat and accompanying vocals to this one stuck in my head all week long. Like, I cannot tell you how many times I'm just like, Arintin Tin Tin, Arintin all the fucking time. They got one with this. They got one. Did you like it?
I liked it better than Girl Crush, and I liked Girl Crush. So
Yeah. Collab album, please.
yeah,
Please,
please.
God. All right, we got a new one from Charlie XCX called Von Dutch. It took a few listens for this one to grow on me, but now that I'm all in on it, I cannot wait for her new album this summer. A little disappointed that there is no Von Dutch hat in the album artwork or accompanying music video, but maybe I'm just too on the nose of a person. What do you think of this one?
This is indeed a Charlie XCX track. I just need to mention the album artwork or the single artwork for this one. How many shots do you think it took to get just the perfect crawling pose?
Way too many. The music video is her beating up the cameraman in first person through an airport and like jumping off a plane and shit. I felt like there was like a million stills from the music video I would have used that matched the tone of the song. Her just on all fours on a vintage like music player does not really give me the vibe of the song or go with the
It's
name Von
so
Dutch, but you know
odd.
what? I don't care. I don't care. It's a good song, and that's all that matters.
It's so odd. Yeah, no, you're right. It's good. It's Charlie. It's hyper pop. It's good.
All right, we got the fourth and final single of Empress of and her new album rollout, and I cannot be more ready to hear this album in full after hearing it. The singles were a nice balance. We got a little bit of modern pop, Latin pop, indie pop, and I just cannot wait to hear what else this album has to offer, man. What did you think of this one?
You know, man, the more I hear from Empress of, the more I like it. This is
Same.
good. It's undeniable. Undeniable bop.
Yes. I think that one's March 22nd. So still a few weeks away, but close enough. I like that she said she's capping the singles at four, though.
Love that.
All right, we got a new one from Chloe, FYS. Not bad for a random single, not great either. I think her voice remains phenomenal, but she's yet to make a solo song that has managed to stick with me for long. What about you?
When I first saw the name of this track, I thought it was going to be "Fuck Yourself,"
I
but
wish.
"Fuck Your Statics" makes it makes more sense. Good song. Her voice is great, but it didn't wow me, like you said.
You know what? At least she's putting out music. This girl has put out an album and like six singles in the time Normani has put out like two in the like 6 years she's been a solo artist. So I'm here for the output. I do think she's a hell of a talent. I just think, I don't know. I I honestly don't even think it's more of like a take a step back, go in the studio for a while. I think what she's doing's working. Just keep making songs, keep putting shit out there. You're gonna find what works for you as a solo artist
For sure.
after being in a group with your sister for like your whole life, I imagine, you
For
know?
sure. No, I fully sign on to that.
All right, man. Can't wait to talk about this new one from Richie of Injury Reserve and Amine called Dizzy. I told you a little bit about this one last week. This is fucking great. We have not had a ton of great rap music this year, but this one, him and Amine really do their thing on it. Whoever Amine is roasting on his verse, dear God, I pray for you. It's great. Did you happen to catch the music video for this one?
No, I did not watch the music video. It's been a
It's
busy week.
it's fucking disgusting because they're like, I mean, the whole video isn't, it's all like kind of first person, that whole thing. But like when Amine comes on, they're like side by side at a urinal in a bathroom, like he kind of says in the song. And he has his like cocktail glass resting on top of
Oh
it.
no.
It's fucking horrible, but
Oh
it's
no.
great. Yeah, man, this should be a really fun album. It sucks that a member of Injury Reserve passed away and that they're just doing like by storm the remaining two guys together in solo projects, but it is great to hear them still making phenomenal music like this.
Yeah, this actually is going to push me to finally go dive into Injury Reserve's music. Like we talked about last week, I never really dived into their music, but I've heard so much about them for so long that like it's kind of silly that I haven't yet.
Yeah, they have a feature on Limbo, I think you might have heard, but Jailbreak the Tesla off their 2019 album with Amine is another one of my favorite tracks. But even the non-Amine stuff, just me not being an Amine fanboy aside, they're really good and worth checking out.
We stand Amine over here.
All right, man. 21 Pilots time. Their new single Overcompensated is out. I was a little hesitant going into this one. I enjoyed parts of Scaled and Icy when it dropped, but it fell out of my rotation pretty quickly. And now I think I'd actually rank it near the bottom of their discography. But after a couple of listens, I added this one to my rotation with confidence, and it has been getting a few plays a day since. I really liked their track Levitate off their album Trench, and this has a lot of the same vibes to me. I know his like word salad rap stuff is not for everyone, but I like it. And we're not gonna have to wait too long to hear the rest of the new album. It's titled Clancy. It drops May 17th. How are you feeling about it after hearing this one? Been very curious.
Like you said, I mean, I was skeptical going into it, but I really like it, man. It's heavily electronic. I like it. 21 Pilots does it again, man.
Yeah, a hard one to sort. Indie pop rock rap, as always.
Right.
It goes here. All right. We got a new one from Cage the Elephant called Out Loud. In my opinion, this is a big swing and a miss, but I am not an authority on Cage the Elephant music. What's your opinion on it? Did you like it?
I I loved it. I think it's
Damn
a
it.
gorgeous song. But here's the deal. It's not Ain't No Rest for the Wicked. It's not Spider. It's not like it's not
Sure.
their first album stuff that a lot of people seem to gravitate more towards, which is, obviously super fine. I think that they have a way with words, and I think it's maybe because I've seen them so many times that
Yeah.
I can like see it fitting into their set. I'm excited for the album to come out at this point. I think we'll get probably some higher energy stuff than this track is, but I
Oh,
think this
most
track is
definitely.
gorgeous.
Well, I'm glad you like it. I just want them to regurgitate the old stuff. I am the problem, not the solution. I'm aware of that, Brandon. All right, we got a new one from St. Vincent called Broken Man, and you are going to be pleased to hear, Brandon, that I liked this one.
Of
I
course you
liked the new
did.
St. Vincent's. Yeah, because it's getting out of the Daddy's Home era. I'm not going to say back to the Mass Seduction era, but more to an experimental pop indie rock direction that I'm a fan of. Hopefully, this is a sign of things to come. I know there's a lot of collaborators on this album that have been announced. We chatted a little about that last
Yep.
week. What do you think of this as just a lead single, though?
I love it, bro. She's kind of bridging the gap between Daddy's Home and Mass Seduction, and I'm here for it. I think it's kind
Yeah.
of a really good blend of both of those sounds, and I'm excited to hear more.
Yeah, I'll go on that ride with you. I'm excited for it too.
Yep.
All right, new one from Wheel called Empire. What'd you think of it?
My song of the week. Absolute
Oh yeah.
fucking banger. I'm stoked for the album. I believe it's called Charismatic Leaders. They, I don't know, man. They do it for me, dude. Some Finnish prog metal.
That's all that needs to be done sometimes, man. Yeah, this is really good stuff from Wheel on this track. I love the guitars on it. Great, great breakdown at the end, too.
I believe they're coming to the States. It might even be their first time. I think
No
around
shit.
May they'll be in San Diego. I am potentially going to go to that one. I'm excited.
Hell yeah, dude. I support that 100%. Please
Yep.
go. All right, got a new one from Hail the Sun, Secondary Worship. It's a solid track, a little softer than a majority of their last album was, but still good. What'd you think about it?
Do you think we're in for another album, or is this like
Nah,
a deluxe, or maybe just a one-off
maybe.
single? I don't know, man.
Oh no,
I
it's
liked
a,
it.
I think it's a pre-tour single.
Oh, okay, that makes
Yeah.
sense. Yeah, because I looked through Equal Vision and I was like, did Equal Vision say anything about it? But
No, yeah, they posted on Instagram. I think it's just a single they're releasing. I would imagine it is from the same sessions as the last album, if not recorded, not soon after.
that makes sense. I liked it.
Yeah, it's a good track. Another good track. This new one from Knocked Loose, Blinding Faith. This track fucking rules. It's the closest a metal song has come to being my song of the week so far this year. But there was an undeniable force on the playlist this week. We'll get into that in a few, but this should not take away from how great this track is. And we have that new album of theirs coming this May that I can't wait for. Are you a fan of this one?
I got three words that come to mind when I
Hit
listen to
me.
Knock Loose. It's crushing, it's heavy, and Mickey Mouse. And I love all of those things. This track is just so good. I'm assuming their album will be this good as well.
Yeah.
I it took me a number of listens to get into Knocked Loose, and now every time I listen to Knocked Loose, I'm like, man, more of that, please.
Same, same. Some vicious breakdowns on this one.
Yes,
Love it.
sir.
Got a new one from Born of Osiris, a mind short circuiting. Dear God, another metal song that just fucking rules, dude. That plucky section right before the
Oh
breakdown
my
with like a
god.
minute left is insane. I had to run this one back a few times. It is so good. And what are your thoughts on it?
It's crazy, man. It's so good. It's the symphonic elements, that breakdown, the vocal range,
Yup.
the palm muted riffs. I love all of it.
Oh, man, really, really good track. All right, we got, dear God. All right, we got one from Party Cannon called Weird But Not Illegal. I knew this one was going to be a good time from the second I heard the Bruce Campbell clip at the beginning of it, and I was right. It's a little too much of a good time, but that's the fun of it. What do you think about this one?
So this band is funny. They have a logo, obviously you see, that is not
Sure.
very much like other metal bands. I think they did that to stand out on metal lineups as opposed to the scribble scrabble that all of the other metal bands do. I just man, this shit is so funny. It's so good. It's so heavy. They have a music video out. I sent it to you. I don't know if you watched it. It is hilarious. It is just like
Oh, I did.
it's fake gore. It's the quote from the record label saying, "You spent our money on what?" It's just it's good shit, man. It's good. It's good fun slamming death metal.
Oh, we're gonna get into some more good fun metal at the end of this episode, but one more single to talk about. I don't know if this band is Ixor or Luxora. The track is called Moro. I thought it was really, really good, but the last minute of this one just really ties the room together for me. Some incredible stuff there. What'd you think about it?
I just love the way they let everything breathe. And for being a track that's like under 5 minutes, they somehow found a way to let every instrument breathe and all of the vocals kind of do their thing. And every member of the band has like a moment to shine. I fucking love it, man. This is really good. Like you said, that last minute is crazy. And yeah, I think everything was done extremely well on this one.
I could not
I
agree
also don't
more.
know how to pronounce their band name, but Ixora?
Sure. Yeah, that actually sounds right. Ixora, we'll go with that. I have no fucking idea. Please put a hyphenated parenthesis pronunciation breakdown in your bio, band.
Let's
All
do
right.
that.
We got a one EP this week to talk about. It's from Wayfinder called Losing Time. Definitely our MySpace core band of the week. This EP is
Absolutely.
really good. It starts good, stays good, ends good. I wish all projects we reviewed were like that. These tracks are all great. I think Stay is my favorite of the bunch though. What about you?
This is self-released by the band, no label on
Hell
this
yeah.
one. DIY probably ish. The instrumentals kind of drew me in, man, but they really are at all of the corners of pop punk, post-hardcore, and emo. Whatever effects they're using on the guitar, whatever pedals they're using, just fucking works for their sound. The vocals took me like a little bit to get used to, even though like I like this style of vocals. But as the EP goes on, I just like them more and more. The drumming is fantastic throughout this project. I love the lyrical content. Whole thing is great, man. I think I love number one. Stay is great, but I think
Yeah.
Stay is so good because it's got a minute and a half of just instrumentals to kind of pump you up, you know?
Yeah. Yep. Are you talking about Light Up like
Light
the
up, yeah.
instrument? Yeah, yeah. I couldn't agree more. Yeah, that the way those two tracks go together really is one track, but then you kind of realize by the time you're four tracks into it that they're all really
Right,
connected.
exactly.
It's one of those. Great find by you, man.
Great project.
All right. You ready to talk about some albums?
We have a few albums to talk about, John.
We have a couple. None that I'm anticipating or anything. All right, so it's Schoolboy Q week. His new album, Blue Lips, is out, and I really don't even know where to start with it. Right off the bat, for me, this is a top three rap album of the decade so far, and easily the best rap album I've heard since Call Me If You Get Lost. We have reviewed a lot of great rap albums since then, some that we've even given tens to, but this one is just hitting different, man. And I know how hyperbolic I sound, but this is an album that is an instant classic and it deserves to be respected as such. It is his best writing, his best beat selection, and all of the features hit. But it's the little things on this one that I love the most, man. The little nod to Mac on Blue Slides, the drums on the Absol track, everything going on with the Freddie Gibbs verse, how hard Rico goes. The way Back in Love is like a reprise to Yearn. This album is fucking phenomenal, dude. The nonchalant delivery of cooties. It's it's quite literally perfect, man. It's is an easy 10 for me. Yearn might be the track I remember this album for if I have to pick one, but Thank God for Me is my song of the week. Been in
Hey.
such heavy rotation for me. If I'm gonna go with an album cut though, to just pick a favorite album cut, Time Killers. Great late album song and
Yep.
one I will be listening to quite often. Yeah, man, this delivered in every way possible for me. What about you?
This was an interesting listen for me. There
Hmm.
are some. I number one, I'm not my score. The score that I give will not be its final score. I think I'm going to settle on something as I continue to sit with it. But
Sure.
there's some really cool facets on this album that I love, man. The production on the whole thing is great. And what I would call experimental while still utilizing traditional instruments for a lot of it, not relying heavily on like weird stuff that all the hyperpop dudes are doing nowadays, you know?
Yeah.
It's the pop has like some rage to it. Blue Slides has this like kickless kind of jazzy beat. Lovebirds have like a couple of weird samples, a couple of really cool samples, and this weird like almost completely off pentameter bass line that just and those two beat switches. I think it's two. Cooties uses the piano incredibly. Most of the
Yeah.
beats on this are actually like 8 to 16 bar beats, as opposed to what most rappers are using nowadays, which are like just 4 bars and the occasional switch up. The rapping from Q himself is just interesting to me, man. Tracks like Blue Slides really accentuate how good of a rapper he actually is. Other tracks like
Hmm.
Thank God for Me, he's just basically jumps around and has some fun, you know? And then tracks like Urine 101 see him kind of do both of those styles of rap really well. Tracks like Cooties like brings him more like down to earth, but then on tracks like Pop, he claims he invented rapping about gang shit, which objectively is wrong. But Ohio with Freddie is clearly one of the best tracks on the album for me.
Yeah.
The instrumentals, the mixing, the production, the lyrical content, the beat switches, along with the way they just both hit everything the way it's meant to be is fucking great. I think as with most rap albums in the last few years, I think it's a little too long, man. I think he could have cut a couple of tracks off here and made it, in my opinion, perfect. I think there's a couple like I think tracks like Movie I could do without. It's just like a minute and a half of like nothing.
That's fair.
Other than that, I'm still kind of just sitting with it, man. I'm right now. It's somewhere between a 7 and an 8 for me. My standout is Ohio, just because I love the way that I love everything about that song. That song is indeed perfect. But it's very possible that as I sit with this one, it's going to move up in score. Like I said, it's undecided, but I really did enjoy my time with it this week. We had a lot of other music to listen to this week, John.
We did, man. I think having it between a 7 and 8 is fair for you. I think you articulated yourself well. I do think it is going to grow on you over time. I will push back a little on the length of it, only because I feel like, and it is not my place to pick and choose who I nitpick album length with, but I do feel like it's a little different when artists wait like 4 to 5 years for a new album, as opposed to every year, like Chris Brown doing a 25 song album every year, every other year. It's been 5 years since I've heard ScHoolboy Q. I want an hour of new ScHoolboy Q, and I don't think the quality ever dips enough to really say that it's impacted by the length, but I do get where you're coming from. Totally.
That's fair.
All right, man, let's move on to
another blue album cover.
Yes, another blue album cover. This one from Faye Webster. This album is called Underdressed at the Symphony. I don't have much to say about it. I like it. It's not my favorite album of hers, but I enjoyed it more than the singles led me to believe I would. It's easy to listen to, flows nicely. It feels like it loses its train of thought at times, but like intentionally so. It's not always a bad thing, but it leaves a certain moments of it feeling a little undercooked to me. That aside, though, man, I did enjoy it. I think Lifetime drags on a little too long, and I think that Feeling Good Today is a weird single. But overall, I still think it's a good album. I'm going to put it between like a 6 and a 7. But Not Kiss is actually my standout, which is a single we got last year. That one has stayed in my rotation since, though. How are you feeling about this one now that we've heard it in full?
So, I'll say that I did like both her 2021 album, I Know I'm Funny, and her 2019 album, rather, Atlanta Millionaires Club. This one just feels vastly different to me, man. There are plenty of the things that she does so well here on this album. She does melodies really well. There's some great guitar licks. Her signature vocal style and songwriting and like arrangement capabilities are all there. It's just done in like this, in like a like you said, purposefully odd way. There's like some twangy stuff on here, which seems to be the very in thing to do. There are some weird moments like those two singles we got with Yachty, which I still don't understand, and Feeling Good Today, which God, man, that song would be incredible if it were not for the vocal filters she has. Most of this album would be better for me without the vocal filters. I think it's the perfect size for what it is, though. It's just like 36 minutes. It's like a breeze to get through. I'm probably not going to be coming back to it as much as I do go back to I Know I'm Funny, which honestly, if I'm being real, it's not that
That's
much,
my favorite of hers.
But I do like that album, and that's okay. I hope this does well for her. It's a 6 for me. I liked it a tad bit more than I didn't. eBay Purchase History is probably my favorite of the bunch here.
Great song title. I think Orbital Gate would really approve of that one. All right. We got a new album from Future Islands, People Who Aren't There Anymore. Are you a fan of this one?
Yeah, so I realized that we missed this one when it dropped in January, and while there was a spot for it, I kind of wanted to just throw it on. I know you're not the biggest fan of Future Islands, but I think this album's pretty neat. They do the thing that they do very well. A unique sounding voice, fantastic synth melodies over some sick bass lines and guitar that just drowns so much in the mix that it's barely noticeable. That's what Future Islands does. That's what they do well, and I don't think that this album is much of an exception. Every single track to me is fucking catchy. You can just throw a dart at this track list and you'll get whatever melody you land on stuck in your head. Even like the slower tracks like The Fight have like they have really good bass lines throughout this. I liked this album for what it is, but it's very simple. And I
Yeah.
think it's beautiful for its simplicity. But I understand why some people it may not be other people's things. It's a 6 to a 7 for me. I think King of Sweden is a fucking banger. What did you think about this one?
You could understand why it wouldn't be my thing, you mean?
Other
So no,
people.
it's other people.
Other people.
It's good, dude. It's a little boring. One thing I've come to realize about myself over the past few years doing this is that I'm not a huge fan of synth pop with male vocals over it, especially down
Interesting.
tempo synth pop like this. N- That's not the reason I don't love this group or this album, but I think it does factor into my like natural disposition towards this type of music. There's some nice sounding synths, like you said, some very catchy melodies, but it just feels like Magic Jordan for dads to me. And I can't really get past that train of thought. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. Like you said, it's just not for everyone, me being one of them. I'm going to give this one a 5. It's definitely not a bad album. My standout is Say Goodbye. That was my favorite track.
Neat.
All right, man. Mannequin Pussy time. So
Yeah, it is.
their new album, I Got Heaven, came out. I started taking out notes for this one and I just stopped. I just threw in the towel. I was like, this album just fucking rocks. Like, what else do you want from it? It opens with the banger single, I Got Heaven, before going into maybe the strongest album cut, Loud Bark. We get a bunch of the other songs we reviewed as other singles pretty early on, but the back half of this one just starts to go fucking crazy with Of Her and Aching. This one's an easy like 8 to 9 for me. One of the best like punk indie albums I've heard this fucking decade, and one that I think is going to be a staple for years to come. What are you feeling about this one, man?
I have been waiting for this one since I first heard about Mannequin Pussy back in 2019. I listened to their
Yep.
album Patience like a madman back when I first heard it. It's been in my rotation since. This band has a way with their music, and I think that the dichotomy of their songwriting is on full display on this one. They can do like soft little ballad numbers like Nothing Like and I Don't Know You, but then they can do some fucking scorchers like Aching and Of Her. They pull this off very well, and I think it just feels like authentic and very them.
Yeah.
I think the album is paced very well. The highs and the valleys tend to complement each other rather than being at odds with one another, like I feel on some other albums that do this kind of fast, slow sort of thing. It's such a short album. It's 30 minutes. It feels even shorter, though, because by the time you finish it, you just want to run it back.
Yeah.
Okay is a fucking ripper, man. They got fuzz, they got energy, and for 2 minutes, they just fucking own you. Tracks
They
like
go.
Softly kind of show off exactly that dichotomy I was talking about earlier. Like in the one song, they can do punk riffs intertwined with melody in a way that not a lot of other bands are doing stuff like this. I don't think I'd necessarily call this like punk rock, but there's so much punk influence it would be silly not to mention it all.
Exactly. Yeah.
I love how raw her voice sounds on the whole thing. I love how unhinged some of the lyrics are. I love how down to earth all the other lyrics are. I think they closed the album perfectly with Split Me Open. It's got
Yeah.
everything I liked about the album, and is probably the reason I kept wanting to just run it back again. I feel like I listened to this like 10 times this week, and I gotta say, man, I'm gonna be coming back to this one quite a bit. I think it's an easy 9, man. I'm gonna give it a 9.
Yeah.
Sometimes I Got Heaven or Split Me Open, they're all fucking bangers. It's a really good one, man. I think this one's gonna go down very well for them.
Yeah, I think, and what if Jesus himself ate my fucking snatch is going to be one of the most iconic lyrics in their discography forever.
Amazing.
That is just an all-timer. Jesus Christ. God bless Mannequin Pussy. All right, let's talk about this new one from Defocus. There is a place for me on Earth. What are you feeling about it?
All right, so I almost didn't add this. You and I were both pretty underwhelmed with their last effort. I was prepared to not throw this onto the playlist, but I ended up previewing it out of morbid curiosity, and I'm
Yeah.
actually really glad that I did, man. Released on a Rising Empire Records. I think they found their sound, dude. I'm hearing people call this new metalcore because of the obvious '90s new metal influence that takes place like kind of throughout the album. But I
Sure.
gotta say, I fucking like it, man. First of all, I think their vocals sound great right out the gate with Let the Bond Be My Grave. They kind of just throw it all out you. The track is building up to the breakdown, but the breakdown is not the sole purpose of the track to exist, which is kind of how I've felt about a lot of metalcore releases lately. Like that Currents album, was that last year or the year before? Almost every song was around the breakdown and not the breakdown being a part of the song, which is something that I couldn't articulate until I heard this album, where things are things flow and the breakdown is natural. Um, the electronic elements they throw in are all done extremely tastefully. I think the opening synth riff for "Watch Me Bleed" is fucking great, and I love how well integrated it is how well integrated into the song it is. This is kind of their modus operandi throughout the whole album. I think it works pretty well, but like their last album, it did get a little repetitive.
Hmm.
The synth riff, along with the palm muting and Slipknot Vermilion kind of vocal style leading up to the chorus on Crooked Mind, is pretty cool. They got some rapping on Hybrid Anthem, and I think they made it work. Is it corny? Hell yeah. Is it done well? Absolutely. The album ends with the title track, kind of a slow build. It kind of works. It also could have worked well as an opener. It's a 7 for me, man. Watch Me Bleed or Biased are, both really good songs in my opinion. I am dying to know what you thought about this one, though.
We're not too far off. You really said it all. I think it's good, but it's a little formulaic, and it does feel like it tries a little too hard at times. But I do think that what it lacks in originality, it does make up for in consistency. From beginning to end, this album is consistently good. It sounds really crisp, the vocals are really sharp, and the electronic elements sound more intentional than forced. As an album, it does not have a ton of lows, but it really didn't have a ton of highs for me either. But what it does have is some really fun breakdowns, and sometimes that's all you need, man. I'm gonna give this one a 6. I liked it way more than I did not, for sure. My standout is Crooked Mind. Really, really fun track.
It's a good one. It's a really good one, man. It's like clearly Slipknot influenced, but
Yes,
you gotta love that, right?
you have to, dude. It's so good. All right, man. It might be Schoolboy Q week, but this is the album I've been waiting all week to talk to you about. This is Orbital Gate's album, Astral Scavenger, and dear fucking God, what a breath of fresh air this one is. It is so fun, so thrashy, so not serious, but at the same time, insanely good. Like, I don't know the last time a song yelled "I love cum" and then immediately went into this like crazy beautiful metal like breakdown. Fucking Sludgegate just going like new metal and then post rock in the fucking middle.
Yup.
Everything about Gridlock. I like this album so much. I went back to their album from last year.
That's amazing.
Femboy Bussy Implosion might be just one of the best songs I've heard. Everything this band is doing is fucking working for me. This is a banger of an album. Even beyond the music, the aesthetics, the album artwork, all top notch. It's a strong 8 for me. I could see it creeping up to a 9. Throw this up there with Darkest Hour, Job for a Cowboy, all the best metal this year. This is the good shit, man. Thank you for throwing it on. I had so much fun with this one this week.
I am
What'd you
so
think
glad
about
you
it?
did, man. Like you, I fucking loved it, right? It threw me
Yeah.
for a loop a little bit. I wanted you and our listeners to hear it, man. Released on a label I've never heard of before, Doki Recordings. Insanely heavy. It hits all the notes of slam for me. Cheesy voice samples, a band that doesn't take themselves too seriously, and plenty of those fret pull-offs and like fucking crazy breakdowns and indiscernible vocals. Just
Yeah.
absolutely insane, man. It was. I'm glad that you had so much fun with it. It was fun to go to this album when I was craving something heavy
Hmm.
this week, because it was heavy and also like uplifting because of how much you were like laughing at the same time as
Dude, it's
it's
so
like
funny. It's so fucking funny.
I think parallels of perpetual infusion is just so crushing, man. And then that sample of "We're get a human child for $1.69 only at Burger King." Dun 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 dun. Just,
That one kills me every time. The fucking Burger King stamp.
just incredible. Great job, Orbital Gate.
Oh my God. This is yeah, fucking phenomenal. Thank you guys. All right, man. That does it for our albums this week. We have another big week next week with new albums from Ariana Grande, yay, and Bleachers, boo, coming out. Quite possibly Vultures 2. I don't even think we reviewed Vultures 1, so don't hold your breath that we'll check that one. But who knows? It might be a slow week. We'll check it out. Uh, Please like, follow, and subscribe wherever you get your playlists. You can find us on Reddit and Instagram. Just search Brandon's Face Pod. And don't forget to subscribe to the playlist that the podcast is based on. You can find the link to that in the show notes below. We will be updating that shortly with all the new music for next week's episode. We'll see y'all then.
Peace.
Peace.